Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's time for another live stream, and it's Trivia Tuesday today on August 25th, 2020. And I see some of you guys have been in the chat just hanging out for a long time already. I see Martha's in there wondering if today's going to be Seinfeld Trivia Day or if I missed that. I did see that yesterday, and it was like the impetus for today's theme. It's not going to be a Seinfeld theme because I'm going to be completely honest. I was never a huge fan of Seinfeld at the time. Lots of my friends were. It didn't resonate with me quite in the same way that it did with everyone else. I thought it was okay. But there is a Seinfeld question in here, and that's what got me thinking, because today's theme for the trivia is fictional 5K. So we're going to talk about some fake races or TVs and movies that have done races. I think it's mostly TV, though. Now I'm thinking about the questions. TV that have done races and competitions involving running. And that's going to be the theme for today. There's no points. There's no prizes. It's just having fun. So hopefully you guys are cool with that. Let's see who we got in here today. Chris, was the first one in here today, coming at 2:43. Awesome. He said just finished some chocolate ice cream and ready for a nap. That sounds just absolutely delightful because it is hot in Iowa right now. I almost said in Chicago. It is hot in Iowa right now. And my in-laws have central air conditioning, and we do not have central air conditioning at our condo in Chicago. And it's just really nice. It's so incredibly luxurious and indulgent to have like a ridiculously hot, humid day and then kind of fall asleep on the couch and be like, ooh, I could use a blanket right now, like in central air conditioning. It's just it's very different than the kind of air conditioning that you get with window units. So it's been very nice. It's been very nice indeed. Carlos says hi. Let's see. Recycle on Wednesdays here. Jeff Elliott. We got, got Roadrunner Review says what's going on. Very cool. Lots of people here already. Let's scroll down a little bit. Ricardo Katagiri, Steven Gersdorf. Oh, just got a new pair of the Escalante 1.5s. Not the 2.5s, or is it the 1.5s? I've been seeing a lot of ads, probably because I've been doing searches on Ultra stuff, but I've been getting a lot of ads for the 2 and the 2.5, but not the 1.5. Interesting. Brian Tambourine says, just bought some Bobo oat bars on sale at my local Ralph's grocery store. I didn't know it was a real thing and not just something Seth made up. Haven't tried them yet. I have not tried them before either. And here's the other thing. I was thinking about Seth. I've been thinking about Seth a lot in the past couple of days. But because I was thinking about, I know he had the marathon coming up, Pikes Peak, and I know he was coming up on 100,000. But then the other thing that has been sticking in my mind, and I'm very curious to know, is in his warm-up or in the vlog for the Pikes Peak Marathon, he's getting ready in the morning. He's having some breakfast. I think he had a Bobo bar. He dipped his in coffee maybe. But he shows on the table he's got 3 or 4 of the Univid tall boys, the extra, the double wides. And presumably because he was going to bring that with him for the race. Now, I don't think he wore a vest for the race. So did he put those in his shorts? How did he carry all those tall boys? That's what I want to know. Does anyone know that? Did he talk about that? I didn't get to watch the rest of it. My YouTube watching these days is pretty limited. My anything watching is pretty limited these days. Just because I'm trying to do a little bit more. I know my in-laws are here and my kids love spending time with grandma and grandpa, but I don't want to be like, hey kids, go play with grandma and grandpa all day. So I'm trying to be a little bit more aware of that. But so most of my YouTube watching time is I'll bring my phone into the shower and I'll just play it, whatever's on my watch list. So I didn't get to see the end of the video, but I want to know, how did he carry all those? He must have had a belt of some sort. Anyway, sorry. All right. Rain Runner's here. Let's see. Bert Laguesse. Plant Powered Dan, good to see you. Jeff Elliott says his shorts have 2 big pockets. Do they really? Those look like very small shorts. So I'm not sure. But I don't. Because now I have a variety of 2-inch shorts. Well, I have 2 pairs of 2-inch shorts now, and I have a pair of 3-inch shorts. The 3-inch shorts are from Roadrunner Sports. They have a pocket big enough for a phone, and then 4 other stash pockets. It's amazing. I think I could probably fit. I don't know. I feel like that would feel so heavy in those shorts. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Jay Page says he planned on bringing 3 gels. Okay, so 3 of the big Univeds. That's a lot. That's a lot. Matt Ponzer said he did mention he was putting the gels in his short pockets. Clark Yap says, have I told you guys how much I love the SL20s? That's really awesome. I love those shoes too. Here we go. The load up time takes too long. Here we go. Nice. Oh, that was the wrong sound. That's not the word of the day sound. This is the word of the day sound. Sorry. All right, we're getting some more clarification though on the gels and Seth. He said, Matt Ponder says he did mention he was putting the gels in his short pockets. Oh, okay. All right. Ilya Kim says the showers must be longer than usual. Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, like, I don't know if you have kids, Ilya, but I mean, when you have kids and you get to go into the bathroom, if you do get to go in by yourself, I mean, you kind of, it's an oasis. I mean, I think that it's no surprise that, like, when you watch, like, house hunting shows, you could tell the people that have kids. They're like, oh, I need a really nice bathroom. You know? Joseph Tejero says, would you ever take collagen? Seen it at the grocery store. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about collagen because it's a plant. It's an animal product, isn't it? Is there plant collagen? I mean, I know there can be plant collagen, but right? But it's just like, is it like animal? I feel like it's animal hooves. So that's my concern with it. Yeah. Sean Marshall says, now I just organize my week around when I can wear my path shorts. Yeah, I mean, those you could definitely fit lots of stuff in there. Steven Gersdorf says, nobody carbo loads the night before anymore. That reminds me of the trivia today, because there isn't a trivia question about carbo loading, but some of the more famous carbo loading we've seen on television in the U.S. lately reminds me of that. But you know, my concern with my personal concern with carb loading the night before is that then I'll have to take a really big poop in the morning, or maybe at an inopportune time during the race. That's my bigger concern. So when I do carb loading, you know, I do like to make sure I have lots of food and eat and just volume so I can load up. But you know, I'll sip on sports drinks and stuff during the day beforehand. But I do bring lots of gels, and I have noticed that I'm bringing a lot of gels these days. But then on the other hand, I'm like, you know, when you think about elites, not that I'm like elites do it, therefore I should do it, but to think about it from another end of the spectrum is that elites bring 8 bottles to a marathon. And so the elite bottle stations are every 5K. So if you think about every 5K for 41 Ks, that's 8 times that elites can take something. And if you think at the speeds at which they're running a 5K, that means like every 15 minutes, you know, an elite is taking in fluids. So that's like the other end of the spectrum to kind of think about it. You know, like on the package, it says every half an hour. Elites will take something every 15 minutes. You know, during my training, I usually bring a gel for every like 45 minutes, depending on the temperature and the intensity of the workout. So it just depends. All right, let's get to the first question of the day. So the theme is fictional 5Ks. So the carbo loading that I was thinking about was when Michael Scott in the show, The Office, the American version. Do people still do that? They make the distinction of the American Office versus the British one. But he runs the 5K and he carb loads like 5 minutes before the race. And he's a giant like takeout container of fettuccine Alfredo. So just big, creamy, buttery, oily mess. So they had that 5K for, well, I don't want to give it away what for. But they had a 5K in the office. And what was the official race name for that Dunder Mifflin 5K? Anyone know what the official name was? Like, if anyone gets this, it's probably because you Google searched it. or something like that, because it's just insane. But we'll see what everyone thinks. Yeah, Ilya Kim says, am I the only one who tries to make it a habit for my body to poop every morning so I don't have to deal with it on my runs? Sorry if it's too graphic. It's not too graphic for this live stream. But, yeah, I mean, my body is pretty much attuned to it. But at the same time, during a race, my body also I can be leaving the porta potty. And as the door is slamming behind me, my body will say, ooh, I think you need to poop again. So that's kind of where I'm at. So, all right. Carl says, I don't watch The Office. Oh, okay. Well, that one's going to be really hard if you don't watch The Office. But, yeah, Jeff Elliott says, I remember the episode but can't remember the charity or whatever. Tyler Eads coming very close with the Meredith Palmer Memorial 5K. Even though so Michael Scott had hit Meredith with his car. She was, I think, in the hospital, but it wasn't like a critical situation, I don't think. Casey A. I think Casey A's got it. Casey A is pretty. I'm going to give it to Casey A for this one. It says, Michael Scott Run for Rabies Awareness Fun Run Pro-Am. It's pretty close. The official name of the Dunder Mifflin 5K was the Michael Scott's Dunder Mifflin Scranton Meredith Palmer Memorial Celebrity Rabies Awareness Pro-Am Fun Run Race for the Cure. It's insane. Yeah. But Casey, you definitely got that one. It's such a ridiculously long name. Very cool. Yeah. I think by the time that episode had come out, I think I kind of stopped watching the show at that point. I think what we're going to find out through these trivia questions for today is that I really don't watch that much TV anymore. And it all kind of coincides very neatly with when I had children. So that's kind of like when all my television watching kind of went away. Evan Blankenship says, my life is carbo loaded. That's amazing. Crispin Greco says, Koo, I pulled my hamstring while doing lunges. I ain't ran in 6 days. Help me out, please. Oh, man. Hope you're all right. All right. Play Power Dance. I haven't watched The Office. Be gentle. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah. That's the only Office question. I'm going to jump around a couple of different TV shows. All right. Let's go to the next one. See, Stevie 76. When I had children. Well, like when the children were born. We don't currently not have children, so it's not when I had children. But yeah, that came out wrong. All right. Let's go to question 2. Question 2 for today is we're going to go back in time a little bit to an episode of Full House. There's an episode where Danny Tanner, Joey, and Uncle Jesse race each other. I think they had made some sort of wager or bet. And they race each other at a track. And Aunt Becky gets wind of it. And she brings a camera crew from the show Wake Up San Francisco to film it. How far was the race that Danny, Joey, and Uncle Jesse ran? This will be one that you can guess. Everyone can kind of guess these, I think. Jeff Elliott says, Full House is after my time. This is from the first Full House. And the Full House was I think I was the age of, I think I'm between the ages of Stephanie and DJ. So I'm in between the ages of the two children of the 3. Yeah. And so I definitely watched it. That was squarely within, I was in the exact right age for that, to age myself a little bit. Yeah, we got a couple of answers. 100 meters seems like a good guess. Bert Leguess says a mile. Jared Crane says a mile. Jody Run says 5K. Those are all way too long. Not way, but they're long. The correct. Dave says, as a Brit, I'm at a loss for these shows so far. Yeah, I think that this one's going to be real tough for people that weren't in the U.S. or aren't in the U.S. The correct answer, Jeff Elliott had it at 400 meters. They ran once around. They went around the track, and they were in a dead heat the entire time. and Danny ended up winning it literally by a nose because he leaned at the end. It was a photo finish. Aunt Becky had a camera, a Polaroid, and then she snapped the photo right at the finish line. The other two were up and like leaning back, and Danny was leaning forward. He had to lean in, and he got it literally by a nose. So that's how he won. Yeah. JC says Aunt Becky cheats at college. That's true. So Lori something is her name, right? She was involved in that college cheating scandal, which, like, given how like colleges are now like basically, struggling to exist because of coronavirus, it seems like all that for what? Kind of. It's like the more of an insult to her. Well, it's a self-inflicted injury, but it's a very strange story to come out right now. Jeff Elliott says, I'm 46, so that was a kid's show for me. I'm 40, so I feel like, I guess you would have been, if you're 6 years older than me, so then, that might have been a little bit young for you. That's true. Brett Leguez says, I was madly in love with DJ. That's funny. I had, growing up, I had a huge crush on Tracy Gold, who was, I forget what her name was. She was the sister in, what was the show? It was actually DJ's sibling, was it Kirk Cameron, was in Growing Pains. So that show. I also felt like Tracy Gold, that character, and Lisa Simpson were the exact same person. But maybe that's just me. Jeff Blade says, I knew Uncle Joey from Turkey Television. I'm not familiar with that at all. Simon Evans says, I never watched Full House, but my daughter's been watching Fuller House on Netflix. Interesting. Martha says, no kidding about the irony now of the college admissions scandal. Yeah. Carlos says, are all these TV show questions? Yeah, they're going to all be TV show questions for today. I apologize for that. Yeah. I always thought it was the coolest, though, on Growing Pains, where at one point they put, I forget Kirk Cameron's character. Was his name Michael as well? His name was Michael, right? He lived above the garage for a little while, and I just thought that was the coolest. It was the best of both worlds. You still lived at home, but you had your own house. You had his own apartment. It was awesome. Anyway, yeah. I watched a lot of television growing up. All right, let's go to question 3. Before that, Meadow37 says, do you think your kids will attend college? I've always kind of been saying I'm okay if they don't. But practically speaking, I'm you kind of have to, right? But yeah, I feel like they would go because that's what one does. But I think that if my daughter were hey, I want to go do this, I have an idea of a plan. She didn't have to have a 5-year business plan, but if it's something that's at least a little bit more elaborate, then my friends are going to Bali for a couple of months. As long as it's more structured than that, maybe it has to be a little bit more structured than I'm just going to go backpack around Europe for a while. She has some sort of idea of what she wants to do, hopefully with some sort of goal. I've always kind of wanted her to be a journalist. We'll see if that ever happens, but that's my goals that I'm putting onto her. But we'll see. I'm not going to try and push her that way. Yeah. Oh yeah. Rambling Dude says Mike Sievers. That was his name. Yeah. Kirk Cameron's character. Dave says, are colleges not open in the U.S.? They are here in Europe. I'm amazed about that sentence though, compared to the other simple theft punishment you hear about. Yeah. Colleges are open in the the COVID sense. Are they open? Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if that's what you mean though. Some colleges are opening up to bring students back, but they're having a hard time with it. But I'm not sure that's what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, CV76 says, Dad, I want to be a YouTuber when I grow up. Yeah, that's, I think my kids are already at the age where when parents say they go for career day or that kind of thing, that a lot of the kids, it used to be fireman, astronaut, professional baseball player. Now it's YouTuber. I think astronaut is still usually in there. But yeah, some of those crazy ones. Simon Evans says, did Arthur Fonzarelli ever run? That's a great question. I don't know. All right, so let's get to the next question, though. Speaking of that question. All right, so we're going to keep with the Bob Saget kind of motif and then go from Full House to How I Met Your Mother. So in How I Met Your Mother, Barney successfully runs the New York City Marathon on 0 training. What are Barney's... What is his last name? I want to say Barney Stinson, but that's not right, is it? What are Barney's 2 rules for running a marathon? 2 rules for running a marathon for a guy that doesn't train to run a marathon. Someone said earlier, I forget where to go, saying that like someone Googled prison. Oh, okay. Stevie76 says, I Googled prison shoes. They look like slip-on Vans. Next review. Maybe? I don't know. Someone asked me in a comment today if I would run, not only just review Crocs, but running them for 100 miles. And I haven't had a chance to respond to that one. I had to get my thoughts together on that first. I feel like that might be like one of those. Normally I like, it's actually come up a couple of times. I've taken money for a review before, like years ago I did that. I didn't really think it felt right, so I don't do that anymore. And lately people are like, hey, tell us your rates for a review. And I'm like, what? Those don't really go together, but 0, just send me the product and then whatever information you want me to have, and then I will let you know when I put the video up, and that's it. But like that's a shoe, like Crocs would have to be like, we'll pay you money, running this for 100 miles and then make a video. Because I'm not, otherwise I'm just not interested in doing that. But the prison shoe things, I mean, I'd love to have an excuse to buy a pair of Vans. Not that one needs an excuse to buy a pair of Vans, but I think I've had this conversation with you guys before. But I've definitely had it with my running buddy because he grew up on the East Coast as well. And we're at the age where like the biggest insult, the biggest like slight to one's masculinity that one could suffer was to be called a poser. And Vans, for me growing up, were always skate shoes. And one could not wear Vans unless one could skate. And I could never skate. So I never wore Vans. I still have never wore Vans. It just doesn't seem right. So that's another thing. If like, if something came up, maybe. But I don't see myself buying any Vans. All right. Yeah. Let's see. 2 rules for running a marathon. Jay Page has it. Barney rules. First rule, start running. Second rule, there is no. The way he put it is, step 1, you start running. There is no step 2. So that's definitely Barney in a nutshell. Matt Ponder says Barney was better when he was a kid doctor. I thought that there was supposed to be a reboot of Doogie Howser, MD. Wasn't there? Am I wrong? Am I wrong in those? Am I wrong in that? Rambling Dude says the Van slip-ons would be good in floor nursing. That's interesting. What's what's also I should ask my mom about this. Is my mom here, by the way? I didn't see her. Because like I remember when Nike made that one shoe, I think they make it either specifically for like healthcare professionals or other people that are on their feet. But in either event, they like donated like their entire inventory of that shoe to first responders, like very early on in the pandemic. I remember seeing that. That was pretty cool. But then people were like, yeah, that's great that they donated and all, but it's not leather on a wipeable surface. So like if you get blood on them, then like you have to like get rid of your shoes. And I was like, I understand that concept, but I'm just like, I don't think all nurses and doctors are wearing like leather shoes all the time when they go to work and they're in scrubs and stuff. Cause I just thought it was weird. Because the same thing happened with the Bondi, because Hoka donated a whole bunch of Bondi 6s to first responders and healthcare providers too, and they made a leather version for that purpose so that it could be wiped. And people were like, that's great, that's awesome, now I can wipe it. And I'm like, I get it, it's a hospital, there are fluids that happen, so I don't know. All right, very cool. Byron Evans says, speaking of 100 mile, best long run shoes, Vans, Croc, Nova Blast, Beacon, Glide Ride, Clifton, Nimbus. I would say long run shoe. Right now, my favorite long run shoe is probably the Clifton 7. I really like the Triumph 18. I really like the Ride 13, but I'm kind of taking a break from them for a minute just because I think they might be disagreeing with me personally in my anatomy, but they're really good shoes. So I kind of really like those as well. Nova Blast, also very good. Let's see. Shannon says, hi friends, I've been lost on my bike in St. Louis for 3.5 hours, battery almost dead, but I couldn't miss a stream. How do you, Shannon, how do you keep getting lost? I think this is like a couple of times you've been getting lost. Hope you're okay. Martha says she misses House. Speaking of MD TV series, that was a good show. I've watched like the first couple of seasons of it were good, and then like after a while it kind of lost me. Game 55 asks, best everyday running shoes? I really like the Nova Blast. I like the Peg 37. Most people, I don't know, people are pretty down on the Pegasus this year, but I still think it's a good shoe. I also am liking the Clifton. It's good. It's a little bit mushier, so it's a little bit more comfy, but best probably I'm putting like the Nova Blast and the Pegasus are up there for me. But yeah, there's a lot of good entrants to that category. Let's see. Mark Chancoco likes for his long run, he liked the Glide Ride. Very cool. Plant Power Dan loves his Endorphin Speed for the long runs and everything else. This is a good shoe. I'm looking forward to get back into it sometime soon. Carlos Ceja says, did you know that they have a Nike by You Vaporfly now? I designed one, but 270 and member only access through me off the couch. Yeah, I've seen it. People have been going nuts on it on Instagram. And I think people have been buying them up. I think they're out of stock on a lot of them. Or like they're having a hard time like getting orders fulfilled, right? Something like that. So like the Next Percent has been doing like pre-distressed type of outsoles. Like it looks like it's dirty, which I have mixed feelings about. And different kinds of outsole, like rubber tread patterns, which I think is pretty cool. But also like they've been releasing a whole bunch of new color versions of it too. The black and white one looks really nice. But that has been selling out like crazy. Simon Evans says Crocs for theaters, running shoes for the wards. Oh, there you go. Very cool. Carlos Ceja says the Nike Zoomfly OG is a great trainer racer. See, I prefer the Zoomfly Flyknit. I think of the 3 Zoomflies that I've tried, I like the second one the best. I just really like Flyknit. I still kind of like it. I don't know. Yeah. Cabe the Bear says, hey, Kofuzi, I saw your video on the Peg 37 versus Clifton 7, but if it was Clifton 36 versus Clifton 6, would your thoughts change? I'm not sure. I really like the Peg 36. That may have been one of the best Pegasus. And I also really like the Clifton 6. I think I'd probably go with the Pegasus 36 on that one. And as Dunbar says, my friend Nick needed to be pulled out of a ditch when we were mountain biking tonight. We were laughing so much we forgot to take a photo. That's crazy. Hopefully everyone's okay. But it sounds like you are because you were laughing so much. You forgot to take a photo. That's great. I'm glad everyone's all right. Corey Allen says, the best 100 miles for me has been the Ultra Escalante 1. At 300 miles, and the Ego foam shows no signs of breaking down. That's a good foam. I like it. DW Running says, can we have trivia on real TV shows like the original Star Trek, Lost in Space, or Gilligan's Island? I think Gilligan's Island would be a pretty fun one. Maybe we'll do that one. I didn't watch them originally, but I'm trying to remember when it was that I watched them. But I watched reruns on a daily basis when I was very young. I'm trying to think of when that would have been. I mean, when I grew up, it was... it makes me sound really old to say this, but when I grew up, it was a different time in terms of like when you could leave children alone unattended. Like now, my daughter's 8, and I can't really imagine leaving her at home alone for like any amount of time. But my parents did it all the time. Yeah. So like, and what I mean, like the television was my babysitter frequently. At least that's what I remember. They may remember it completely differently, but that's what I remember it. I mean, my mom was a nurse, so she had all sorts of weird shifts, and my dad is a pastor or was a pastor, and so like they worked weird hours. They couldn't always like be at home like at evenings and stuff. So, like, yeah, I watched a lot of television, but I was a pretty independent kid, so I think I was okay. But I watched a lot of Gilligan's Island as a young kid. Yeah. Let's see. All right, let's get to the next question. All right, question number 4. All right, and here we go, Martha. This one's for you. In an episode of Seinfeld talks about how he raced once in high school and never again. It was like a foot race where they lined all the students up, and whoever won would like represent the school in some sort of track event. I'm guessing the writers at Seinfeld like did not run track because like this is like the premise that they laid out. But and there was some sort of miscommunication. Jerry accidentally starts before everyone else gets like a 10-yard head start and ends up winning the race, but then like retires from running after that, quote unquote. And he like lives with that, and that's like his like, you know, like a feather in his cap that he carries around with him. Years later, he ends up having to race again, one of the people that like suspected that Jerry had accidentally cheated. So, and his name is Duncan Meyer. So the question is, for the second time, how long was Seinfeld's race against Duncan Meyer? This is going to be a pretty general answer because it's not very explicit in the show, but yeah. Let's see. Raynor says, I found the Pegasus 36 underwhelming when I tried it on. I think Nike just isn't my jam. I know it isn't for a lot of people. And I find that it suits a lot of women less, it seems. I don't know, maybe I'm way overgeneralizing, but that's one of the things that I've kind of anecdotally observed. Jeff Elliott says about the Clifton 6, though, says, I love the Clifton 6, but I feel like they are very different shoes. Pegs are daily but faster. Clifton are daily but high cushion and light. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you on that. They're like, they have different emphases, you know, so they're doing different things. They're not trying to be the same shoe, for sure. Rambling Dude says, I run with the Nike Infinity Reacts. Overpriced, but I like them. I saw a lot of those shoes in Chicago. A lot of people. Let's see if we got any answers to this question. Larry Lawrence says, a loop around the block. It's kind of close because it's kind of like that's like the measure that I kind of looking for. But that's a little bit long. Let's see. We got Jared Crano says 10 feet. Planned Power Den's 100 meters. Ryan P says a block. Jeff Elliott, a block. Yeah, I'm going to go with a block as the correct answer. Although it might have been as short as 40 yards. Because the way that they film it, like they're at the end of like a street that's like a dead end, and they run to what looks like the end of the block. So the answer that I have is a block. You could find it on YouTube pretty easily. But yeah, it was a short race. But Jerry, the whole premise of that video, and I'm going to say spoiler alert here, but the show's been over for how many decades now? So like I feel no guilt. But what ends up happening is there is another incident that happens at the race. And this guy, Duncan Meyer, was so like angsty about like having lost to Jerry Seinfeld back in high school that when they agreed to the rematch, he called up everyone from high school to come and watch this rematch. And they lined up. They even got the same like gym teacher to line up and call the race. And there was another incident that happened that made it legitimate for Jerry to unintentionally but very obviously cheat, and he won the second time too. So that's that story. Martha says, no idea, but I'll guess 100 meters. Or time, 20 seconds. I do vaguely remember the episode, but I'm actually not a Seinfeld expert. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Chow AL says, all I can recall, someone's muffler blows out and Seinfeld won again. That's exactly what happened. My cow says, thoughts on where I go, setting down the camera and running by it. I think it's great. I used to do it all the time for a lot of my runs because it would mix up the kinds of footage I was getting because I had handheld GoPro footage. And then I would have like a little clip that I would set the iPhone in so it could just stand on the ground, and I would run by the camera and have it set to slow motion. I stopped doing that a couple of years ago because it was pretty like it just became annoying when I was trying to do like a 10-mile faster run or like a threshold run or a tempo. Like so when I wanted to do a workout or I wanted to get like a solid, uninterrupted 15, 20-mile run in, like stopping a couple times a run to get like shots with the camera, kind of like not defeats the purpose of that long run workout, but it doesn't help you in the workout. So like that's where like the training versus the filming kind of like there was tension there and the training one. So that's kind of why I don't do that. Stevie76 says, is a nautical mile the same as a terrestrial mile? I don't know. I presume they're different because there are different words for that. But yeah, I don't know. But I'm guessing that's also a reference from the episode that I totally missed and went over my head. Corey Allen says, after running with the Polar Vantage M and the OH1 for a month, for some reason, I went back to Garmin with the Venue because of the beautiful hardware. Now I miss the Polar data I love so much. The data keeps you. It just sounds kind of like, that's what you say when you're like loyal to a brand. But I do like the way it chops up the data. I prefer it to the way Garmin's. Garmin's is kind of just like it's there, but like I don't feel like I can do anything with it a little bit. Sorry. I don't know if that's like, maybe I'm oversimplifying it. I did order another watch. A new watch should be coming in this week, so I'll be testing out something new just to test something new. But it's not a Garmin. I'll let you guys know when it gets here. But we'll see though. I think I do need to do another Garmin. I haven't looked at a Garmin in a while. Let's see. Meadow37 says, off the topic, but do those dogs that follow you on your runs make their way safely home? Worried about them. They do. Well, I don't actually know about the one, that German Shorthair Pointer. That one, I don't know. It ran with me all the way back to my in-laws' house where we live. And I gave it water, and then it ran off. So I assume it got home safely. We took pictures. I took a picture with the dog, and my mother-in-law posted it on her Facebook and was like, does anyone know whose dog this is? And we didn't get any hits. So I don't know where it came from. But it went back to where it came from after drinking some water and resting for a minute. The other dogs that run with me, I know it made it home because the next day it was there again. And then other times when I've run with it, it's followed me, and then I changed my route and just did an out and back and brought the dog back. And now it's to the point where I just don't let the dog run with me because I'm like, it's just, right now it's really hot and humid, and I'm like, I don't want to be responsible for a dog dehydrating out in a cornfield or something like that. So, yeah. Yeah. Martha says, the whole Seinfeld discussion yesterday started in chat because she wrote something Nazi about something we were discussing. Quote unquote Nazi. Oh, soup Nazi or something like that. I don't remember. I didn't see that part in the chat. Matt Ponzer says, do Polo watches have a lap button for tracking intervals and rest periods during track sessions? Yes. Just it's this big button. That one is the one you click, and you click over a lap. Plant Power Dan said, did anyone tune in to the Koros live today for the upgrades and new watches premieres? No, I didn't see that. I saw who was, I meant to, because I forget who I saw on Instagram yesterday. I think she runs for ASICS. I forget. I can see her face. Is it Sarah Crouch? I forget who it was, but someone was like, yeah, excited for something tomorrow from Koros. And I was like, oh, I want to check that out. Mike House says, SJD does the camera thing so often, and I always think how annoying it must be to always have to turn around and grab the camera. Yeah, I think, though, he's been specific though. Like when he's on like a workout run, he won't bring the camera like really at all, or he might bring like a much smaller one. So he won't stop and like film that on those kinds of workouts. That's my understanding. That's what he's said before. Yeah. Dave says, speaking of NYC, a lot of people are saying that cities, especially New York City, may not return to pre-COVID state due to work from home, etc. Do you think Chicago will recover? I think Chicago's going to recover. I think New York's going to recover. I think everyone's going to recover. I think that we are all overestimating how short our memories are. And so like I feel like once there's like a vaccine, and hopefully there will be a vaccine. Everyone's very optimistic about it, but I'm like, until we have one, I'm not optimistic about it. But because I don't think immunology isn't like a very, it's not like Bitcoin mining where I just give it more time, I'll get a Bitcoin. Like you could work on it forever and never find the answer kind of thing. But, if there's a vaccine, I think that everyone will just get the vaccine and you'll be living in the city and people will forget very, very soon, faster than we realize. But I do think that there are going to be a number of people that like leave cities and never go back. I think that's definitely possible. All right, let's go to question number 5 for today. One of my favorite shows, Arrested Development. In Arrested Development, to impress a woman he's dating, Michael Bluth enters into a father-son sports event with Steve Holt. And that's funny because Steve Holt is not his son. What event do they compete in? What event does Michael Bluth compete in a father and son competition in with Steve Holt? Let's see. Bert Leguest says, correction, Nautical is 1850 and the land mile is 1600. Oh, I wonder why the difference. Yeah, Martha says, I've been saying the same thing about a vaccine enabling normality, quote unquote, pretty fast. I think so, for sure. Kurt Rierson says, how's your knee? Are you back to running in Saucony again? Just started running in the Orphan Speed and really like it. Love the content. Thanks, Kurt. The knee's fine. I had a little bit of a hiccup. Not today, not yesterday, the day before that. So I think Sunday. So what I wanted to do kind of like as a final test of like the knee was to have kind of like a stacked weekend. So not huge, but like I ran a half marathon on Saturday and then I was going to run 11 miles on Sunday. On Sunday, I ended up walking quite a bit and I had to cut the run a little bit short. So, and that was because of the knee. So that was kind of very discouraging. So I'm not really sure what happened there. So like I just kind of rested and felt good enough to go try it again on Monday. So Monday I did 11 and today I did 11 and I was fine. So like, it's like I feel great and then I don't feel great and I feel great and I don't feel great. So I'm not really sure. So I think it's good. Still doing my kind of like mobility exercises. I've been doing a lot of bicycling with the girls now that my daughter has a new bigger bike. And we've got the baby carrier, like a little trailer that I pull behind the bike. We've been riding around the neighborhood, going up and down hills quite a bit. So I'm getting a lot of quad work, I think. And I feel like that may have been part of the reason why, like, on that Sunday, like, I felt like I needed to walk. Just because, like, the Saturday is when the trailer thing came in, and we went on a lot of rides that day. But, yeah. It's not a 3-legged race. That's a great guess. Egg spoon race, no. Someone said banana toss. Where'd that go? Chris Yao says blindfolded axe throwing. That I could see that happening. Let's see. Yeah, Rain Runners is banana toss. Very funny. Yeah. All right. So the answer to that is that, well, there's kind of 2 answers. They thought they were training for a triathlon. But they found out that when they got there that it was called like a triathlon, but it was actually like a children's obstacle course. So yeah, that's what it was. But like throughout the episode, he's like running, he's bicycling, he's getting ready for a triathlon. Jody Run says nautical mile is based on 1 minute of longitudinal distance. Oh, interesting. That's crazy. I didn't know. Now that's trivia. That's great trivia. Rainrunner says, I just remembered that I watched a bit on YouTube about the man versus horse races in Wales. Apparently humans on feet race humans on horseback over a distance of 22 miles. Has anyone watched that before other than Rainrunner? That sounds pretty funny. I mean, what would be like what are the parameters of that race that make it a fair fight? Because I can't imagine that like the horseback would ever lose unless it's like a particularly rugged course. Rainrunner says, I think the horses always win, but I admire that this is an event. It's funny. Is it like a Harlem Globetrotters kind of thing where like there's just, you just know the horses are always winning? Dave says, more than once humans have won. Oh, interesting. Jonathan Fan says, do you still eat shinramyun? Yes, I do. My wife, like the moment like pandemic hit, my wife ordered a case. So we've got a lot. We even have it in Iowa. But you know what? The first grocery store, like non-Asian grocery store that I ever went to that had shinramyun on the shelves was the Walmart in Dubuque, the Walmart that's around here. That must have been like 7 or 8 years ago. And I was like, wow, you guys know what you're doing. You guys know what you're buying. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Jeff Elliott says they tend to be mountain ultra races. I could see that. Dave says it's in mid-Wales, 1,500 meters plus elevation, trail race, largest horse race outside of the Grand National. Oh, wow. Carlos says, what's shinramyun? It's the best ramen noodles you can buy. There's a fancier version. There's shinramyun black, because Korean people love Johnny Walker. So like Koreans aren't the only ones that like it, but so like to make things fancy, a lot of things that are fancy are like something the original thing, but plus black. But I don't like it as much. It just doesn't have like I don't know. I like the fiery red packaging. Yeah, Martha says, okay, now you all have to read Chris McDougall's more recent book, Afterborn to Run, about running with donkeys. Yeah, it's like something with Sherman, right? Sherman's the name of the donkey. It's a race. Yeah. Ines Dumber says, the winning horse has to get to a lower heart rate by a certain time after to win. Is that true, or is that a low heart rate joke? If that's a low heart rate joke, that's genius. Mark Chancoco does like the black version. I think it's good, but I'm like, when it first came out, all my friends were like, have you tried it? You tried it, right? And I was like, yeah, I tried it. It's okay. They were like, what? I was like, no, it's not. Yeah, but Jonas Dyke says, shouldn't blue be the fanciest then? Yeah, it should. But there, I've been hoping that there's going to be like, because the regular shinramyun is red packaging. There's the black label. Then maybe there's going to be a gold label and then a blue. There's green as well, right? So like there could be different grades of the shinramyun. That'd be nice. I would buy them all. Jody runs, is that why you prefer all black shoes? Maybe there's some sort of weird cultural element going in there. Although like I don't think anyone would really call me a very Korean person, but like culturally. But maybe there's something ingrained that just makes me like it. They think that black things, like black labels, are fancier. I don't know. Oh, and his number said it's not a low heart rate joke. A vet has to check the horse so that they don't run the horse too hard. Well, that's nice and humane. I like that. All right. I got one more question if you want. I don't know. I feel like these questions haven't been as fun because I think they're too limiting because it's about a lot of TV. But let's see. We'll go with the bonus question for today. This one goes to Parks and Rec. I don't know if you guys watched that show. It's another one of those shows where I watched for a couple of years and then kids came into the picture and I stopped watching it. In Parks and Rec, Andy, Chris Pratt, trains for the police academy. And Chris, what's his name? Rob Lowe, trains Andy for the police academy. One of the things Andy has to do is to run 2 miles in a certain amount of time. What is the time limit for the Pawnee Police Department 2-mile time trial? Dave says, horses have 3 vet stops with temperature checks. They start after humans. They parade in front of you before the start. The technical hills give humans the edge. Yeah, I like that. I don't know. I'm not much of a trail runner, but that is something that I would train for. Like, I mean, how does one motivate themselves? Like, it's kind of like, I'm gonna get that horse. The horse isn't gonna, not today, horse, not today. Like, as you're running, maybe I do need to read Chris McDougall's new book. But yeah, that'd be funny. Like, this is the day that humankind wins. Like, I feel like, is that how you train to get yourself up the mountain? That's funny. All right. I mean, I don't know if this is like, Pawnee's not a real town as far as I know. But it's based out of Indiana. I don't know if it's ever been established if there's an Indiana town that they're actually mocking. But, yeah, we've got some times over here for 2 miles for the police to get into the police academy. Jeff Elliott says 16 minutes. Mark Chancoco says 15 minutes. Jeff Elliott says 30 or something. Jonathan says 18. Ryan P says 45. So we've got a big range here. Let's see if anyone's gotten it. No one said it. Chris Yao's come the closest so far, I think. Yeah. So the actual time that Andy says he needs to be able to achieve is 25 minutes. And the first day he does it, he's like, that's not, he's like, is that even humanly possible? But he needed to run 25 minutes. They actually, later in that episode, they go out and they run on the track. And Rob Lowe is like coaching Andy as he's running around the track. And Aziz Ansari is riding in a golf cart along the outer lanes of the track, also like providing moral support. And the time that he did for his first 2-mile time trial was 29 minutes and 43 seconds. After he's done, he strips off all of his clothes. He says, I'm so hot, I'm so tired. He's laying down face on the track and says, running is impossible. Wait, Dave says, I beat a small horse when I ran. He said, in 4 hours, claim to fame. Wow. But beating the steam train was more fun at Race the Train, also in Wales. I mean, sometimes I got to, like, you know how some people will say, like, with New Zealand, it's like with like Lord of the Rings, it's like a fantasy country. That's kind of how I feel, and I mean this in the most respectful way possible, but that's something how I feel about Wales, because it just seems like a completely different place. They race horses, they're racing steam engines. What's going on here? It's amazing. I want to go and visit. I want to do this race. I would love it if it's like a weekend running festival. Like Friday is the horse, Saturday is like a train. What do you do on Sunday? You know? Crazy. Yeah. Martha's like, Dave, how fast was the train going? Martha, the question is, how fast was Dave going? That's the question. That's what we really want to know. Steve 76 going back to like, how do you motivate yourself when you're racing a horse up a mountain? He's saying his mantra would be, not today, horse. Yeah, that's what I would say too. That's what I would say. Like, it will be great, and I'm sure that they don't for safety reasons, but like imagine if you're like running up and you're like, oh, I got company behind you, and you hear like the sound of like hooves hitting the ground, like coming up a trail, right? And like the horse like snickering at you. Like, can you imagine that if it was like being like giving you side eye as it go, and you're just like, not today, and you're like, I'm picking up the knees, I'm going. That'd be amazing. Yeah, Dave says you can beat the train. Wow, that's awesome. Ozan Baxter says they also race a loaf of cheese down a hill, right? Is that like, I've seen that where you throw like a wheel of cheese down the hill, you race it? I thought they did that in Wisconsin because it's a cheese state. But is Is that also in Wales? Does that originate from Wales? It's amazing. Stevie76 says, if it's not on Strava. Could you imagine the photo that goes with that? It'd be like me, I'm holding out the camera for a selfie, and like behind my shoulder is like a horse like trying to edge its way forward. Like that'd be pretty hilarious. I know it doesn't work that way. I imagine it's not working that way, but that's how I'm envisioning it in my mind. Trevor says you probably have to yield to the horse. Dave says you do. Wait. You do hear that. You run mostly the same course. So you hear the horse hooves? That's crazy. I think that like on the Kofuzi World, the post-COVID Kofuzi World Tour, we're going to have to go to I'm going to have to go to Wales and figure this out. Jody runs says, as you get closer to the horse, you just want to get in front of it as if it poops. It's not going to go well. Oh, that's so hilarious. Bert, I guess, saying, with the punctuality and timing of trains in the UK, beating it is not really hard, right? Big chance it doesn't show up even. That's pretty funny. Oh, man. Yeah, Chris says, the cheese race finisher, the metal has to be eaten or it rots. Oh, man. Yeah, Rainwear says, please go, Kofuzi. We need to see a vlog series from this. Yeah, I think that I'm going to be like, what was that guy's name? The ball guy that went around the world eating weird food. Like, he would go and have, like, tripe from, like a weird tribe somewhere, like an aboriginal tribe in the middle of, like, a rainforest. And they would go eat, like, bugs in the middle of, like, a swamp. He would eat all sorts of weird things. Like, I gotta go run the weird races. Dave says, UK has some great running history and events. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm enthralled by, like, the fell running that occurs over there, too. That also kind of captures my imagination. But, like, I don't know. Racing a horse on the same course, that is, like, the kind of unnecessary risk that I would like to sign up for. Dave said, I was meant to run man versus horse again this year and race the train in the club championship race, but both canceled due to COVID. It does not discriminate, my friend. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. I want to do that. Yeah. Zimmerman. Plant Power Dan's got it. Zimmerman. Yeah. That is it. Zimmerman, the ball guy, right? He's like, he's actually a really good chef, but they make him eat. Well, they don't make him, but he goes and explores all these other cultures, and eats their weird food. And yeah, I want to be like the running Bizarre Foods. Is that the one? Reed Morris says, I think the show is Bizarre Foods or something. I think I want to try bizarre running. Maybe not bizarre because I don't want to have like a trademark problem, but yeah, I think we got to do that. The Weird Mile series will be my like kind of like dipping a toe into the water, you know, and then I'm going to go race a horse. I'm going to race a train. I'm going to find some other things to race. I know that like, you know, there's camel racing, but I don't think I could race an actual camel. We got to find some other things. We got to figure it out. All right. I think that is a great place to leave it for today because I got some internet searching to do. I got to look up these man versus horse race, the club championship series for the man versus steam engine. Like that's something else I'm going to look up, and I got to do that. But we'll start with the Weird Mile. I got to get some donuts because that's going to be the first one. Because then the one after that will be coffee, and then it'll get really weird. Then I think I was going to do like you do a running, walking taco mile. That'd be kind of funny. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. That's all I got for today, everybody. We'll have a video out tomorrow. I think I'm going to do my review of the new Gooder aviators. It'll be a short video, but pretty fun. Because I think I look kind of ridiculous right now with long hair, a handlebar mustache, and aviators running around here. And then we'll do another live stream tomorrow in the afternoon. Same time, 3 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, everybody.